Did you know that single women own 2.71 million more homes in America than single men? That's crazy. Especially considering that women couldn't even get a mortgage by themselves until 1974. This has been a busy 50 years, I guess. Period.
That's right, Queen. You just tell them how boss babes today are slaying it. I mean, they're doing awesome, except for the fact that you, as a realtor, have hidden several specific details, such as the only reason men bought so many houses was because women wanted houses. And also, men do a lot of the maintenance of the home. But when women were told to be strong and independent, they weren't told these details. So let's check up on how these modern, womanist empowered femmes are doing.
I bought a house. Here are 3 things that I don't like about owning my home. Number 1 is maintenance on stupid stuff. One of those is cleaning out my garage. Today, I spent my entire Sunday vacuuming up the garage, taking everything out, dusting off the cobwebs. Mice and insects are another thing that I don't like about owning a home. A couple months ago, we were cleaning up the house and I remember seeing these like little grains that I thought were little grains of rice. And I asked my fiance, what is this? Like, what do you think this is from? And he's like, oh my God, that's mouse poop. Every drawer, even where our clothes were, like in the kitchen, everywhere we found mouse poop. I hate mice. I literally hate mice. And I had to disinfect everything that had been touched by poop. Finally, if something breaks, it's my fault. In April of this year, our dishwasher broke. Turns out the motor on the dishwasher went bad, even though we had only bought the house 2 years ago. So then we just ended up calling Samsung. They had to send somebody out here. It really disrupted my work schedule. I had to be home for a couple days while this guy came. He had to come out and inspect it. Then he had to buy the part. It ended up costing us like $350. $350 is a lot of money that it could have set us back if we weren't prepared. Overall, I love my home. But there's definitely some parts about home ownership that nobody talks about online that is still important to know, especially if you're in your 20s, if you're post-grad, and you're thinking about buying a house in the near future.
Oh no, my young queen. I thought that owning the home was the ultimate show of being strong and independent. You mean that you actually have to take care of the home that you buy? Oh my, the home that you buy actually requires maintenance. Wow. Let me ask you something, sister. Do you think men knew that? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard it saying that men would live in a cardboard box if it meant that they could be with a woman, but women are the ones who always ask a guy if they own a house. It's not so easy, is it? Honestly, that's just the maintenance of the house. We're also talking about taking care of pests. Mice and insects. Yes, you have to take care of those. I mean, you said you have a fiance, so you should be thankful that there's a man there helping you, but imagine you queens who decided that you're so independent, you're going to handle this yourself. I mean, you could do what men do and put in the work, or you could fork out even more money to have someone else come in here and do this. Home ownership is expensive, which leads into her third point. Everything that you have to fix is expensive. You have to pay for it. Why do you think that a lot of men put in the time to learn how to fix things around their house and they fix them themselves? Now, at the end, she said that she did love it and she did love her home, but let's be honest. The only reason she said that is because she has a man there to help her with her home. And to be honest, I just can't help wondering how much would she love her house if she had to do all this maintenance on her own? I mean, she complained just about cleaning out her garage. Now, she obviously doesn't cut the lawn, doesn't shovel the snow, doesn't do the hard labor. This is just the light stuff, and she's already complaining about it. If she were on her own, I am pretty sure her list would have been a lot longer. Before we move on, I want to bring attention to the fact that 79% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. Come on, fam. You've seen my logo on other channels, and you're already here. Please hit that subscribe button and support the channel. It really helps out. Moving on.
Have you ever had buyer's remorse on a home you purchased? Maybe it was a gut feeling before closing. You were like, I shouldn't do this. Or after you moved in, it was like one thing after another went wrong. And you just have regrets. It definitely happens. What do you wish you would have known before you bought your house? What will you definitely find out about next time you buy? And how did you solve that problem? What was the solution? In most circumstances, buying a house that you regret means you're going to stay there from 3 to 5 years to regain some equity in order to sell it just to break even. And a couple of you are going to tell me, but I only lived in my house for a year and I got $100,000. That was several years ago. Or no, that's not happening anymore. 3 to 5 years. So what are your tips? How do you avoid buyer's remorse? My first one is to have a really good buyer's agent. But what did you miss? What did you miss on the house that you regret buying? Let us know.
game over, man. It's game over.
Wait a minute. Buyer's remorse? I thought you strong, independent queens all wanted to buy that house and show men how you could do it on your own. You don't need no man. Well, maybe buying a house isn't the smartest move. I find it funny that a lot of women will measure a man if he owns his own house or if he rents, as if he rents, somehow it means he's less of a man. In my opinion, having been a homeowner, and many men will agree with this, renting, in some cases, if not half the cases, is actually smarter than buying. I mean, let's be real. If you rent out a condo or an apartment somewhere, there's a lot of things that you don't have to do. You don't have to do a lot of the maintenance to begin with. Don't have to cut the lawn. Don't have to shovel snow. And, depending on the agreement, some of the maintenance inside the apartment is covered either completely or partially by the actual apartment owner. It just makes sense to outsource the headache. I'm not saying that owning a home is always a bad move, but to judge men because they don't own a home is probably the dumbest thing that women can do. But now these queens decide to be all bad by themselves and own the houses themselves. But now they have to wait 5 years to sell the house. Wow, Colleen, I thought you were slaying it. What happened? Well, on the bright side, this is one of those rare moments that women cannot dodge accountability no matter what, but they're still going to try. Moving on.
I hate being a homeowner. There, I said it, and I meant it, and I hate it so much that we're moving out of our house and into an apartment. But not just any apartment, into a loft in the city with 10-foot ceilings, exposed brick, floor-to-ceiling windows, because I need this move for my mental health. So I decided that this was going to be the year that I focus on myself and I just free myself of all the things that were stressing me, that I didn't like, that just made me unhappy. And then I took a look around me and I realized that one of the main things that were stressing me out was trying to renovate this damn house. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it anymore. I saw a girl on here and her response said that rent is the maximum that I will pay and the mortgage is the bare minimum that I will pay. I've never heard anything more true, and that's exactly why I'm moving. Every time I turn around, there's another expense. There's something to pay for. Something's broke, something needs to be fixed or replaced. I don't want to deal with that. And I personally make enough money where I could live in a nice place, where I don't have to be in a house in the suburbs renovating a 1970s fixer-upper on a budget. Like I choose not to. So we're moving. If you want to see our journey from moving from a house in the suburbs on an acre of land to a fun little loft in the city, follow along because it's going to be fun.
My, I'm seeing a pattern here. These queens regret being homeowners. I wonder why. We've already mentioned the cost of maintenance and basic repairs, but now she mentioned a fixer-upper. In other words, upgrades. They cost money too. Wow, queens, you didn't see that coming when you drank that woman's Kool-Aid? I just have to ask, where did all of you queens get that idea that men were oppressing you from buying your own houses? I don't recall there being a movement of men saying, hey, don't let these queens get indebted to the bank. And let's be honest, her saying of rent is the maximum I will pay, while mortgage is the minimum I will pay, is spot on. I mean, let me come at this from a different angle. Let's say you queens bought a home at $425,000 and you gave a, let's say, 20% down payment. That would be about $85,000 on a 30-year fixed rate loan at an interest rate of, let's say, 6.25. Depending where you live, it's going to vary, but roughly the total cost of the loan over a 30-year period for a $425,000 home will be somewhere around the range of $750,000. And you actually thought men were oppressing you from getting into this? The only reason men get into this is because you women want a house. But I guess like everything, you have to learn the hard way. I mean, next thing you know, these queens are going to demand the government to give them mortgage forgiveness. Also, I bet if women try to sell their houses early and they find out that there's no equity, they're going to blame the patriarchy somehow. The house didn't get value because a woman lives in it. Sure. Moving on.
I'm going to be really controversial when I say this, and I'm talking to all of our parents out there. Buying a house does not make you successful. Don't worry, I did it by myself at 30, and so I'm going to walk you through why I would never do it again. Specifically in California or LA, and I mean by myself. I signed those documents as a single woman, first and last name, because that's how they do it. If you have a partner that would split that with you, I think that's a completely different story. Again, bought my house by myself in LA. Let's go over the pricing. I bought a townhouse in LA, a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. It was $465,000. I bought it in 2021 because I thought that was going to be the cheapest thing possible. I had an interest rate of less than 3%. It was 2.99%. Things that I could not have factored in. HOA increasing. My HOA from month 1 went to $299, and then year 3 went to $486.
Whoa. The internalized misogyny that this woman is displaying is almost despicable. You independent queens out there, tell this queen how wrong she is for spreading all this misinformation. The women's movement told you that being strong and independent and doing everything by your bad self was basically your Super Saiyan final form. And she's actually complaining about the absolute privilege of indebting herself into a mortgage company for 30 years. And if she falls on hard times, it can be foreclosed on and she loses everything. The nerve of her. The problem with this queen is that she's listening to too many of these men. They're brainwashing her to believe that her giving her money up to a bank is wrong. And it's kind of funny. The only ones who went out of this are realtors and financial institutions. If you come to think about it, that womanist liberation was the ultimate money-making scheme. But hey, you don't need no man, right? The beauty of all this is no man forced her to sign the dotted line. I can't help but notice that in these videos, not once have men been blamed for this. I would chalk this up as a W for men, but in reality, it's a W for the creditors. All around an L for boss babes.
The reason I'm talking about this is because my house was on the market. I am selling it for $535, okay? So I'm gonna minus broker's fees, improvements, escrow fees, title insurance, and corrective worker repairs. With that being all added up, my profit at the end of the day for 4 years is $15,206. I put 10% down. That's $46,000, okay? If I would have taken that $46,000 and for the exact same time period, so don't be like, the market's not reliable, exact same time period, February 2021 to June of 2024, I would have made a profit of $21,644. So the difference of that would be that I was up $5,000. And
Yep, she would have been up $5,000 if she would have invested in something else. But then again, we can use womanese logic here. I mean, in you investing that money, you don't make the memories that you made in this house, Colleen. Oh, you would not feel the same way you would feel as you bought a house. Because as we know, for women, feelings are more important than reals. And the feeling she got when she finally got that house and when she finally moved in. You can't get that for investing because you don't feel the investment. That's pure numbers and logic. That's a man thing. And as we all know, men are unemotional beasts, care only about money. All that work and being just $5,000 short should be considered an exchange for her feeling so awesome. And as always, the ultimate thing to take out of this, gentlemen, is if you compare how she went through all the process to get out of the house after being in it in only 5 years, it's amazing how this is comparable to how women feel their way through marriages, just like they feel their way through buying a house. Oh yeah, they're all excited at first and their pee-pees are more important than anything, but then after a while, they regret it. Oh my, it was a mistake. Oh, I need that because I'm no longer happy. Mortgages were treated like marriages. I am pretty sure mortgage companies would give women a 10% rate as a starting baseline.
Now that's a lot of damage!
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.